Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. I am your host, CyberDragon, otherwise known as Peter. And today we're going to be experimenting with a logic that some community members have already played around with. But that is a forcible pickable, like a forced pickable. So when a player loads into a map, they automatically have a pickable object in their hand, and they can't really drop it because it instantly goes back to the player's hand. So I'll show you how to do that. It's quite simple, and we can explore some ideas on what we could do with that. And yeah, hopefully you find some inspiration to come up with your own type of logic or gameplay using this technique. So, hope everyone's been well. Thanks for tuning in. Go West, Fred and Ferd, welcome. Alright, so I loaded up a older map that I made in the previous stream. I'll go ahead and show that one, and we can make this a bit relevant later on with the pickable. So these are all pickable ones. When you press E to pick them up, you can shoot just by pushing the middle mouse button down is what we've done, and each one is unique. So you can I thought I could shoot from either one, but that one's not working. Might need some repairs. That one doesn't work. Maybe try again. Nope. Anyway, looks like every second one works, so that's cool. Hey Africa, welcome to the stream. Thanks for tuning in. Naz, welcome. Alright, so first thing we want to do here is show the pickable. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to type in backrooms to get the backrooms column. It's probably easier just to type column. And we'll make it basic. And we'll use this one. Okay, so traditionally you can add a pickable component. And when a player spawns, they can go ahead and press E and then carry this item around. But when they drop it with E, it pretty much just stays there. So that's just a general pickable. Now a little trick you can use here is to have your spawn point, and with the spawn point you can add features. So we'll go ahead and add play sound. And with the play sound, you can play a sound, well, it doesn't play any sound, but at the start, you can send a message, interact. So this is the trick. Alright, and that's it. So when I press tab now, it didn't quite make it because it's picking up the wands instead. So you can see any pickable can be picked up, and it automatically attaches to the player. So if you want to be specific on what the player picks up, what you can do here is instead of broadcast type all, you can do specific tags in range. You can do the whole map, and we can say tool 1. And we'll go ahead and add that to the thing we want the player to pick up straight away. So we'll put it onto this pickable here. So now when we hop into the game, it's automatically going to pick up this box. And when I drop it, it attaches straight away to the avatar. So I can't get rid of it. It's something that is stuck to the avatar now. And what you want to do here is you can adjust it a little bit, and you can have no opacity. So when you pick it up, I'm completely in the box. This is useful for, I don't know, you can put an animation on the box or have some sort of decoration that's more unique for your game. So you can adjust it so it's, you can't see the feet and you're just this floaty box. Good thing about this too is you can change the opacity to be 1, or I would probably in this case just remove the collisions and the invisibility. And here you can see no box, but it is attached to me. So there is a box over the top of me that I can never really get rid of. It's useful in some cases. So different types of ideas can stem from this. So for instance, I can add an indicator, and the indicator here can say something like maybe I can do color equals red, something like this. Not too sure if this will work exactly. We'll just check that out. So now I can display text above the player's head, for instance. Hey, play game, welcome. So now I have a red team above the head. If I try to drop it, it drops for a moment and then you can see it teleports back to the player. So you can have red team and blue team and green team and have that label forced above the avatar as one idea. Now there is a weakness to this, and I will describe the weakness. It may be a bug, it could be something that gets changed later on, but let's put a wolf down and we will put a health component, and here we can't attack. There's no damage that comes from the avatar with the swing when they're holding a pickable. So you can't really add, you have to like drop it and hit it right at that same time, but it only gets like one hit in and you kind of have to spam for that. But what you can do is a charged attack. So we do a charged attack and that works. But the regular swings do not when you have this pickable. So that's something you've got to take into consideration. Or a player can drop and hit at like this. It's not very ideal, but there is like a weakness to that. Something to keep in mind if you do decide to use this idea. All right. Now this can apply to other objects as well. So we can have this wand. This wand here also has pickable. We can say tool 2 and add that as a tag. And what we can do now is change the play sound to go from tool 1 to tool 2. And now when I press tab, the wand hops straight into my hand and I can't really drop it. But now I have a permanent weapon. Well, I did have a permanent weapon. It stopped shooting now. I don't know why. So it works straight away, but oh, there we go. And now I have a weapon I can't get rid of. Hey Andy, welcome. So now we have that pickable object and we've given it a tag tool 2. What you can do here now is add teams. So here you can have assign team. We'll make that true, and we can have team 1, team 2, team 3, team 4, etc., etc. But what you can do here is duplicate, and you can make this one team 2. This one here is team 1. You can add a tag, which is 1, and this one here you can add a tag, which is 2. And this here is where players spawn. And when players spawn into the map, they spawn 1 at a time for each team. So you can have a team of 20, because you can have a max player count of 20, or you can have the minimum players. But if you have minimum players of 3, you need a pickable for each team, 3 of them. Whereas if you had 20 portals with 20 teams, everyone that joins will have their own individual pickable that you can guarantee that they receive. So you just go ahead and make this 20 times, and move this block out of the way. We'll just do 10 for this example. Okay, so when player 1 spawns in, it's going to play sound, and then it's going to pick up an object called tool1. And what we can do here is we can assign a wand that is tool1, and that will be the player's weapon that they pick up. And then you can make each weapon different. So you can have a healer that heals, you can have one that does range damage, you can put fire effects and have like close range damage, and each player that joins will be a specific class or have a specific weapon type based on the tool tag and where you place that on the pickable. So this one here has tool 2, so player 2 when they spawn in will automatically pick up this wand. And this one over here is going to be tool 3. And what you do is, again, portal with the number 3, you go to play sound and you just change the tag. So if we do tab, you can see portal 1 picked up the wand in front. And now if we do tab again, you can see player 2 has picked up wand number 2. And you can make each weapon do something different, as I mentioned. So this is one way to force players to have specific roles or weapons or tools in their hand that they cannot drop. Or you can have labels above their head, or you can combine all of the above. So if I have here tool 4, now notice this had tool 1, but it picked up the wand rather than this because of the distance from the avatar portal. So the closest object with the tag will be picked up. So tool 4, this is tool number 3, and then the next tab will be tool 4. It picked up this. Did I do something wrong? I probably forgot to change here. Yeah, I did. Alright, we're probably going to have to show that example with this one. Change that to tool 5. And now I have a way to label a character with a role or a team or something of that sort. And if I switch this to multiplayer testing, as you can see in the top right corner, it all works, which is great. Let's shoot the wolf so you can see the damage works, and this works in multiplayer as well against other players. Just bear in mind there's a bit of lag and delay between shooting, but it's all very possible. So I'll go ahead and change that. That's already been done. Number 6 needs a tag change. Team 7. Team 8. Team 9. And Team 10. So now when 10 players join, they will all spawn on their own individual portal one at a time and pick up whatever is got that tag on the portal. So this one here can be tool 6 because we got here 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so this will be tool 5. That's all right. We'll just move that across. We'll make this on tool 5. All right. Another weakness I want to point out when you're holding a pickable. All right, so let me go ahead and put down something to show this example. All right, we're going to have an asker. And that asker here requires interact. So the player to press E. And all right, so if I go ahead now and I have an object, which I don't, and I go and press E, I can speak to the NPC, no problems. That's expected behavior. But was that 7? Maybe I'll go to 8 now. Yeah, that's 8. So this one here will be 9. So I'm going to go ahead and give this tool 9. So when you have an object in your hand and you go to talk to the NPC, you can't. You have to like spam E. So it drops the object for a split second and then you can press E, which is not ideal. Not all players will know they need to do that. They'll just think E is not working. But there is a workaround here to make that work smoothly. And for that is the message on drop. So if we have the message on drop is trigger interact, and let me edit the logic. And what we want to do is we want to trigger to interact everyone in range and just make that a small range, like 2 or maybe even 1.5. So now when you drop the object, it will send a message trigger interact, and what you can do here is instead of having interact, you can have trigger interact. So when you drop this, it will instantly pick it back up, but it will also trigger anything around that requires the interact message. So you kind of like bypass it. So I'll go ahead and do tool 10. So when I spawn, I pick that up. Perfect. And now when I press E near this character, it automatically does the NPC chatting. There's no need to spam E or do some awkwardness to drop it and then speak. It will always do it because it's dropping the object, sending the message to trigger that interact. So this is some things you can use to work with the weaknesses of having a pickable in your hand. Cool. All right. Next, what we want is to use some ideas of what you can do with the pickable. So we already have a message that can be dropped, and we can have a team name above our head. Another thing we could do here is probably attach some asset spawners. So I'll go ahead and get the trusty numpad out. Just snap to grid, keep things easy. Alright, so with this one here, we can remove collisions and we'll make this one an asset spawner. You could do asset spawner or you could do multi. Multi is a good one. Let's do multi. And you can change the shape of it and things like that. So let's just do alien block for this example. Activation mode will be message, and the message can just be 1. So when it receives the message 1, a block will be placed down, and you can do like long blocks. You can do wide blocks. So let's do a couple of examples. So this one here, we'll just say the message 3. We'll duplicate it and bring it here. This one will be message 2. And we'll make this one 2 by 2. It's a bit awkward when it's 2 by 2 because it's not symmetrical, I guess. Whoops. As you can see. But we can do something like this. And then we can duplicate. And we can make this 1 by 1 by 1 and make that message 1. Okay, that could work. And we'll call this one tool main. We'll call this one tool. We'll go to our hierarchy and we're just going to go ahead and parent that. So now it's carrying these things around. So just to give a quick example, I need to now get rid of all the other wands, so I can give an example of how this works. No, it's picking up the wand rather than the box. That's okay. We can go ahead and delete these just for the example. And what I'll do here is I'll get rid of these as well. So we're just going to have tool 1 again. So we don't have to juggle around. And now you can see our invisible object is carrying asset spawners. I'm going to go ahead and just lower these by 1 and make them invisible so we can't see them. And we're going to go to, and we have inputs. So we've got left, right and middle mouse button inputs, but you can also do numbers as well. So if I go to rules, triggers, key inputs, and you can have when number 1 is selected, it will send a message 1. When 2 is selected, we can send a message 2, and same with this one, we can send a message 3. Cool. So what I got now is when I push 1, it spawns a block. When I push 2, it spawns a long block. When I push 3, it spawns an even bigger block. It even knocks me off. So you probably want to add some distance between for that, but you can start building all sorts of things here and switch to different types of block that come out, all from the Pickable, right? So you can start creating maps or courses or whatever the case may be for your game to try to get to a certain destination using this wand. So there's oh, I'm stuck here. I'm stuck. I cannot get out. Anyway, So yeah, so you got a pickable now that you can label a player above the head, so you can give tags. You can attach asset spawners, which you can then switch between what it spawns based on the number pushed. So things like that can be done, and you can do the opposite as well. So you can duplicate. Now, when you duplicate something that's parented, it should stay parented. Nothing changes. But now we can add, say, number 4. Actually, we're going to make this a void. And we can have a message received. That's number 4. We can probably do 2 by 2 in this case. We'll keep it 1 by 1, just for this example. We don't want to delete everything. We only want to destroy a block from the list, and that will be the alien block, and we don't want to destroy any assets. And again, we go to our rule system. We're going to add number 4, and we can now delete things as well. So we can put blocks down and then press 4, and you can see we are deleting one block at a time. And you can create an asset that has like an outline of a block in front of the player, so the player can see where this deletion or adding the asset is going to be placed. So you can get some sort of position happening, so you know where things are going to be deleted or where you're trying to aim. But not only can you build, but you can also delete. So if you're racing against other people, you might want to turn around and remove some of their blocks, or even your own blocks, so they can't catch up to you or use your path. And you can make that void big, not just one block at a time. But it's just another way to use this sort of method. Alright, just checking some chat. I think it would be really cool if you add live captions. Yeah, I guess I can try to add some live captions. Live captions, when you upload to YouTube, they have captions automatically that you can add. So I don't really add the live captions because it's just added later on. So if you rewatch the stream tomorrow, there should be automatic captions there. And he says it's cool. Be awesome to build a game to race to the top by building. Yes, absolutely. It's a concept that the one of the teams did inside the sandbox with the Pickable and building the blocks, but you couldn't choose your blocks. It was like pattern, so each time you do push the button down, it had a certain like Tetris sort of block shape that you can't change. It just cycles through, but that's where I got the inspiration from to show you guys this. So that is another another thing that you could do with this sort of thing. What else can be done? If you're good with asset making and animations, you can, as I had before, assign roles to people. So as soon as they join, they have their own pickable, and each one can have different abilities. So when you drop the item, it can trigger different things. You just have a different message here. So if you have a game like Among Us have, you know, the hunter and the people that are crew, and the person that is hunting the players, you could push E or a mouse button next to a crew member that you want to kill, and you can trigger an animation of a weapon like a knife coming out and stabbing somebody. It's not going to stab them, but it just shows that you're killing them, and there's a visual indicator to say, oh look, there's a knife coming from this person, they're the killer. But if there's no one else around, no one's going to see it. But if someone sees you kill someone, there's a visual indicator, and you can send that message to kill someone that isn't you, and that's holding a different pickable. And that pickable can activate different tasks around the ship, for instance. So you might have crew members that are engineers, or different roles that gives them different tasks. So this is the pickable ability, and the types of things that you can do with it. And then you can assign a killer as well, and hide the fact that they have a weapon. So let's do that one. Just a quick example. Obviously this is all very rough. You need to refine it with your own custom assets. But let's just get an axe equipment. And we can say a wooden axe or a pickaxe, it doesn't really matter. And we can have an axe like this. We get rid of the snap in. And we can have no collisions, and we will make this one a tool axe. And go ahead and attach that to the main as well. So when we press tab, we can adjust it so it looks like it's in our hand a little bit, even though it's a floating thing and it probably won't make sense most of the time. But if you adjust it slowly, you can get a reasonable result, right? And then you're running around with an axe. So if you are the killer, you don't want the axe to be seen by the players to show that you're the killer. So what you can do here is you just make that invisible. And what you can do is add actor properties. So we'll just say tool actor. We'll go ahead and attach that to the main. And we will make this an actor property. And for the axe, we need a tag. So we'll go ahead and type in axe. So when we go to the actor property, we want to do, say, fixed. We can do a message here 5, just for this example. And we want to see it, and we want to do it for specific tags in range, which is axe. We'll go to our rules, and again we can just add number 5, and we'll have the message 5. And now when I press tab, you can't tell I have anything until I want to try to kill someone, and I can press 5. And then there's an axe, and you can have an animated axe so it looks good, and it can kill the player and then disappear. So if you want it to disappear after playing an animation, you can add an animated decoration. When the I guess you can't. Asset has no animations, that's why. So if an asset has animations, you can play an animation, and then at the end of the animation you can send a message to make it disappear again, and you can make that disappear with turning this into off, and we can just say 5 off. We do need a timed event, so I'll go ahead and duplicate this, and what we'll do here is we'll have a timer, and the message can be repeatable and number 5, and then say after, I don't know, say a second or 2 seconds, we can say 5 off. Next thing we want here as well, we probably want to damage the player, so let's go ahead and give it a health component. And it has 100 health. You can display it on hit, which is fine. And we want to toggle some damage when this is visible. We could probably do a message broadcaster, and we can add a toggle as well. And we can toggle on the message with the message 5 and toggle it off with 5.off. And we can have this forever do damage, I don't know, every second. We can damage people in a small area like this. And the message here will be health. And we want to like minus 20 health. Alright, so that's off to begin with. It will damage, if it damages everyone in range, it will hurt yourself as well as you're in the bubble. So what you want to do is do specific tags in range and just say NPC or anything with that tag. And you go ahead and put the tag on that. Another thing, if you want to damage players, here with the avatar portal, you can add tags. So you can have player 1. Over here you can have player 2. And when you pick up your object, this will be specific to each player. And you can have this weapon attack and hurt player 2 and player 3 and leave out your player number. So player 1 will always pick up this box, and you can damage every other player that has these tags except for yourself, because you can control. But anyway, let's quickly save this and I'll do a quick example. Excuse me. So I'll go ahead and press tab. So now when I press 5, an axe comes out and it hurts me because I have this portal giving me the player 2 tag. So if I go ahead and delete that and try again. Alright, so when I push 5, it brings out the axe, and after 2 seconds it disappears, right? So if you're killing someone in Among Us, you don't want the weapon to be shown for too long. So this one here is damaging, and then it stops. You can kill them instantly, but I'm just showing you how you can have a message broadcaster keep ticking, and you can push it again to kill something. Hey, escape room, how's it going? So here you can assign weapons, assign who gets damaged, and have an area of effect. You can make it instant and all sorts of things. And this is all with a forced pickable, which is quite cool. What else can you attach to this? You can switch weapons as well. So if you duplicate this, whoops, we'll get rid of the snapping. And what we can do here is we'll replace the axe with a sword. And we can have some sort of sword, doesn't really matter. We'll replace. Now we have a sword, and we will make that invisible as well. And we can toggle that on with 6 and 6 off. And this one here can do more damage. Maybe you want to do minus 50. Or attack different targets. That would work too. And we just go ahead here and put in a key input for number 6. That sends the message 6. And we also want to do the same thing here where we turn it off And we also want to we could probably just universally use one off message. So instead of doing it independently for each one, unless you want separate timings, and you just turn that off, you can delete that and just change the tag. So there's axe and then there's sword, and just make sure that the sword itself is got the right tag on it, something like that. Message here needs to be off because we changed that. Cool. Now what we've got is 5 and 6. Nope, don't have 6 working. Let me double check that. That's because I don't have one of these. So I'm going to duplicate and change this to 6. And we got to add the sword tag. Let's try that again. So now we got 5. Brings out an axe. We can bring out 6. Brings out a sword. So if we did a sword in front of this character, there you go, it kills them. I can bring both out at the same time. Probably need some workarounds to disable one when one's out and then reactivate them when it is finished. To do that as well, all you need to do is just toggle off the actor property, and also don't turn this on until the timer is ready. So you'll need a couple of message broadcasters and middlemen to make that happen. But we got toggles, and they will remain on, and we can turn them on with the message off. Is when it turns off, we want to be able to turn these back on. And what we can do here is if we push 6, we want to turn this off with 6, and we also want to turn this off with 5. Same with this one, 6 and 5. And what we want to do as well is have that middleman turn it on, so we can have 6 on. And 5 on. And we'll duplicate this. And we can make this a message broadcaster. And this will be on automatically. It will toggle off as well. The message we want to listen for is, say, 5. And we can have everyone in range, that's fine. Just make it a bit smaller. And this one here will be 5 dot on. Then when that gets toggled on, it will turn itself off. And we probably, yeah, that should work. Let me duplicate this and make one for number 6 as well. And we'll test it out. And I'll duplicate some of these so we can have multiple targets, do some target practice. Okay, so if I do 5 or 6, there we go, we got 5. So if I go ahead and push, oh, it's still damaging, so I may have missed something here. So message to turn off the toggle is not triggering. So off message, but where's that coming from? It's coming from here. It looks like it should work. Probably needs a little adjusting somewhere, but I can't figure out where. So turning off is off. 6 on turns it on. And I push the number 6. It should here. Five or 6. After 2 seconds, it should turn it off. Should be working. But if I press 6 now, I'll bring out a sword. If I bring out 5, and if I push 6, it doesn't work. So now we've brought out one weapon at a time. Yeah, there's a bit of adjusting's needed, but you can see now we've limited how many weapons can come out at once. Each one has a different type of damage, and you can target different tags using this idea. Okay. I hope this has been useful so far and gives you some sort of ideas on how you can use this forced pickable to assign them to different teams. You can have, like here you can, so this one here is tool 1. You can control D, duplicate it, and now it copies the whole hierarchy and everything. And you can change this to tool 2 and make this blue. And this can be blue team, and duplicate the portal, and we can change it to 2 and 2, get rid of the player 1 tag to player 2, and tool 1 to tool 2. So now when you tab in, I am blue team, and you can have their own separate weapons and stuff, or if you tab into the other team, there you got the red team, and then you can attach different things for the red team as well. You can have things that shoot, you can have weapons that come out. As you can see, it's come out for both. So with the wands, I showed a technique on how to make them individual, basically by giving them a local variable to check. So if I pick up this object, I can say here T1, and over here it can be T2, and if I go to the rule system, what I can do here is I go to rules, we can let's create a local variable, local, and we'll call it player number. So we've got a player number now. We can go to events and on player join, we can send a message HUD. So when a player hops into the map, a message HUD will be sent instantly where you can display a HUD. So we'll go ahead and put that in. And here you can put the player number. That way you can keep track if it's working or not. You just remove it later on. It's just purely for testing. And next we want to add we want to set number value. Now I don't want to do one for each, which is T1, T2, which is what I put here. So what I would do different here is say player number, and we'll make that a message argument. It will go ahead and just put player number, and we can say player number 1. I'm going to do the same over here. Put in a message argument, and we'll make that player number 2. So we're just using one message, and we'll set the number value of the player number based on the message argument. So now when I press tab, we should see when I pick up this one, it should be team 2, but I guess it doesn't. So let me just check to see if the Pickable is sending the message to all. It may just be local. Yeah, it's just local, so it's sending to everyone in range. What we want to do is send it to rules. There we go. So now let's try that again. So I picked up this one, and you can see I'm player 1. When I push the button, it's still going to do it for both because we haven't put in that rule yet. But if I press tab and go back into the test again, it will pick up the second tool because I'm going to be spawning at the second portal. And you can see my player number is now 2. Cool. Now that we have individual numbers for picking up each individual assets, what you can do here is when you push a button down, it's going to, let's bring this down. It's going straight to the asset, but what we can do here is do a comparison. So if I go to comparison and compare numbers, what I can do here is when I push down, say 1 check. So instead of pushing 1, we're going to do 1 check. So when you push 1, it's going to send that message to the comparison. It's going to check your player number. And if your player number is equals to 1, we can send a message 1, tool 1. And if you duplicate that, you can do 2 check. And if we check if our player number is 2, we can do tool 2. So that way you when you push the button down, it's doing a check for your player number, and if you're number 1, you can send that message out to activate a specific thing in the asset. So we'll do check 1 and check 1. So when a player presses 1, it will check if your player number is 1, we'll send that message out. If your player number is 2, we'll send that message out. And you need that for each number pushed and for each team. So if I go ahead and duplicate this one here will be 2 check. We'll put it down over here. And same thing, if it's 1, we can do we've got to be a bit more specific here. So this will be tool 1, player 1. And this one here will be tool 1, player 2. And this one here will be tool 2, player 1. And this one here will be tool 2, player 2. And then you're going to put these messages for each individual key pushed. And then in here, instead of having like 5 or whatever, you have 1 tool 1 player 1, and this one here will be tool 1 player 2, for instance. So you just need to switch those messages and make them individual, and it does these comparison checks to check your local number. And your local number is set when you pick up a tool, which happens instantly when the game begins. So using the local number, you can compare your local number and send that message out for your individual tools. All right. So that's that. Do you guys have any questions or need to know anything in particular? I know the Builders Challenge has begun, so there might be some logic that you might want some help with, or some questions answered. So this is your time to do that, or you can just message me on Discord anytime afterwards. There's no issues. But yeah, this is the forced pickable. And the things you can do with the forced pickable, it goes even further than this. You don't have to do this sort of style. You can have a specific tag that is detected by the world, so you can activate certain things. You can have races that detect your tag, so you can detect if 1 player or 2 player or 3 player come in first, second or third, and then arrange orders of numbers based on that. PG says, if we create a game with 3 teams, how many players can be max per team? Well, if you click on the avatar portal, we've got 10 different teams here at the moment that we created earlier in the stream. The minimum amount of players you can have per team is 3, and the maximum is 10. Bear in mind, you have a maximum capacity of 20 players per experience. So if you had 3 teams, you can have 9 players, or you can have, or you can't have 30 players. It would arrange itself until it's full. So one team will have 7, the other team will have 7, and the other team will have 6 if you try to max out the 20. So this one's probably the right answer. 6, 12, 18. So 18 players. Each team of 3 has 6 players. And all you do here is, again, you just duplicate your avatar portal, and you just change the team from team 1 to team 2, change the tags and how many players you want for that team. Control D, and now you have team 3, and that will be player 3. And don't forget to change the pickable. If you are doing this, you want to make sure that you're picking up the right tag for the right team. So 5 players per team is okay, yes, which means that you can have 4 teams if you want with 5 players, but that's the max. But if you want 3 teams, then 5 or 6 players is ideal. But yeah, hope this has been useful. There's some good techniques that you can uncover with this, that's for sure. Some gameplay types can definitely come out of this technique. But I want the team be selected by the NFT the player buys to belong to that team. Yep, so that's easy as well. Wait, is that possible? No, that's not possible, thinking about it. So, but I want the team be selected by the NFT the players buy. Yeah, so that's not possible using the avatar portal. When it comes to NFT gating, you need to have the NFT sensor. So the NFT sensor component, here you can allocate the token ID, which is fine. But you can't add a tag and then tell them you're team 1 or team 2. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. Just thinking about it now. Might need to wait for future updates and extra features to be added to try that idea out. But right now, I don't think that's possible. Unless you manually do something. No, that's not even going to work, is it? If you had a token that's a blue team, and when you load in, you have the blue team. See, if the player has both blue and red team tokens in their wallet, it will confuse things even further. But if you had the NFT for blue team, you can send a message that spawns an asset that you can then attach to the avatar. Maybe. Alright, let's try it this way. We got tool 1, and we'll make this one tool 1 as well. And we'll have this guy come in and need to pick up tool 1. Alright, we'll get rid of this so we don't get tool 2. And if we have an NFT, let's just say, doesn't matter what NFT you have, because it all sends a message. If it's successful, it'll send a message, right? So you can do NFT sensor so when you join, check NFT. And it will check for, I don't know, a certain token, right? And when successful, you can be red team. Then you duplicate this one. Don't need to show UI. Duplicate. It's going to check the same, but if it's got a different NFT, it will be a blue team. So it will check, are you a red team or are you a blue team based on the NFT that you're holding. And what you can do here is you can save this as a preset and call this red team. And call this one here blue team. Delete these two. Duplicate this one just to bring out an asset spawner. And if you have the red team successful, it will bring out the red team. And duplicate this one. And if you have the blue team, it will send out the message blue team, and that will come out as the blue team. And if this is correct, so let's just say you check NFT when the game starts. Let's just put a volume here to cheat. And what we can do here is summon red team. So the volume here is going to detect me and send a message red team instead of doing an NFT check, because I don't have tokens to do this. So now when I press tab, it should trigger the red team spawn, and then boom, I'm straight onto red team. So it's not using the teams in the portal, you're manually doing it. using this technique. So if I had the NFT that says blue team, when I spawn in, it does an NFT check. So what you can do here is you go to gameplay, and we have a message here on player join that brings up the HUD, but you can also do check NFT. So when the game starts, it will check NFT straight away. If you have the red token, it will spawn the red team box and attach it to the player. If they have the blue team token, it will spawn the blue team box and attach it to the player. The box then can have its own separate tags, damage separate players based on their tag. So it's a bit of manual work. It's not an ideal solution, but it is a solution. This is one way you can definitely do it. Worth exploring. Thanks for your help with multiplayer logic CD. I was able to create my multiplayer game for Builders Challenge. Awesome. Good luck with the challenge. Hope it all goes well, and I look forward to seeing your game. If you need any more help in the future, don't be afraid to reach out. So this will be one way to manually add different teams and have a visual indicator above their head to show the red team, blue team. It doesn't need to have text above the head. You can have a visual effects with a different color aura around their feet, and that sort of thing. So you can be creative. I don't know if you can force equip items. So if you had like an armor set, I don't think that's in yet. This consumable is droppable on equip. We can send a message when we equip, but it'll be nice to have force equip. So if we have true and a player picks it up, it will force equip and equip it straight away, which then will also send a message straight away. Yes. Anything else before I head off, guys? I think I'm pretty much done here. I don't have much extra to show when it comes to the forced pickable, but hopefully you got a lot of ideas how you can implement this into your game and just add a bit of control and extra functions that you probably haven't thought of before. When leaderboard for the normal builder, not only for partners? Don't know. That's still being worked on. Hopefully when 0.11 comes out, but I don't know. But we all want leaderboards, and it is being pushed in the background. So it's something we all want. Alright, let's see if there's anyone to raid. Alright, there's a couple of people to raid. So we have Pickaxe Master or Andy Ritchie. Who do you guys want me to raid? Let me know. Let me know in the chat and we'll start a raid. I think I'll do Andy Ritchie this time. Okay, good luck everyone. Thanks for joining and take care. Bye-bye.